You are not asked to dispel your hallucinations alone. You are merely asked to evaluate them in terms of their results to you. If you do not want them on the basis of loss of peace, they will be removed from your mind for you. The ego never wants us to understand that the mind can choose between two voices. It would have us believe that there is only one voice, its. As quickly as we choose the ego, it projected itself and made a world and body in which we mindlessly exist. Being mindless, we have no knowledge of meaningful choice. For not only are we unaware of the Holy Spirit, we are unaware of the ego too. We are indeed aware of the egos in others, but have no memory of their source in the mind that chose them. Yet when forgiveness restores awareness of the decision-making mind to us, we can call upon the Holy Spirit to help us choose peace over conflict, vision instead of hallucination. As always, in his Course, Jesus is asking us to look at the ego thought system and ask ourselves, is this really what I want when it is costing me the peace of God? Every response to the ego is a call to war, and war does deprive you of peace. Yet in this war there is no opponent. This is the reinterpretation of reality that you must make to secure peace, and the only one you need ever make. Tell that to any head of state about to wage war. Only in delusion can there be an opponent, because in the ego's insane thought system the opponent is God, who knows nothing about this madness. In him there is no split mind or battleground, hence no war. The threat of war is but part of the ego's mythology and its strategy to have us flee the mind and find a haven in the world. The cosmos and our existence within it rest on the delusional belief that there is a war in the mind from which we have to escape. We will see presently how the ego directly attacks the Holy Spirit's atonement correction by telling us that there is in fact an enemy out there who needs to be defeated. For as long as we believe the lie, the ego is alive and well. Separation and opposition will have triumphed over God's undivided and undifferentiated oneness. Those whom you perceive as opponents are part of your peace, which you are giving up by attacking them. All the people we believe are out to get us, which justifies our getting them first, are part of the oneness we share in earth and in heaven. We attack them on earth precisely so we will not have heaven's peace, and remember the knowledge that would dissolve our perceptual self. How can you have what you give up? You share to have, but you do not give it up yourself. When you give up peace, you are excluding yourself from it. This is a condition so alien to the kingdom that you cannot understand the state that prevails within it. Jesus is asking, why do you complain about not being peaceful when you keep throwing it away? We exclude ourselves from peace because we do not want the state of unity within the kingdom. We set up a world in opposition to this peace and continually call on witnesses to demonstrate there is indeed a war to be waged and won. Despite their seeming strength, however, these witnesses are mere shadows of the ego's ignorance and intrinsic nothingness. The ego does not know what it is trying to teach. It is trying to teach you what you are without knowing what you are. It is an expert only in confusion. It does not understand anything else. As a teacher, then, the ego is totally confused and totally confusing. Even if you could disregard the Holy Spirit entirely, which is impossible, you could still learn nothing from the ego because the ego knows nothing. That the ego is truly nothing is a central part of Jesus' message. This means that the issue is never the ego per se, but only the decision-making mind's belief in it. This can never be emphasized enough, for it is the heart of forgiveness and the key to the efficacy of the miracle in healing our split minds. The ego would always seek to obscure the fact of its own non-existence by having us believe the problem was its thought system of sin, guilt, and fear, and the resultant projections, thereby confusing us as to where our focus should be. Recognizing the ego's nothingness is the first step toward restoring our awareness to the power of the mind to choose. Our confusion thus undone, we are able to look at the mind's wrong decision and choose again. The inevitable question then: you might well ask how the voice of something that does not exist can be so insistent. Have you thought about the distorting power of something you want, even if it is not real? This should always be our question. Birth reflects the insanity of wanting our individual existence to such an extent that it blinds us to the truth of the ego's unreality. This madness continues throughout our lives, and we are so blinded by our need for specialness that we fail to see the havoc it wreaks. This, then, is the answer to Jesus' question. We are so caught up by the desire to be separated that we do not see the disaster our embrace of individuality causes in the lives of all those who come here, including our own.